We're joined by John Butler and Keith Urban at Byron, and we're just talking right now about AC/DC, and we're going to have a look at one of your requests of that in a second. But what is it about that music from the past? Do you ever just that you just want to crank up with that hardcore, just double guitar action?
Yeah, it's just I think it's because especially very early on, played so many pubs and clubs, and you're just kind of playing what basically is pub rock and roll. And all the bands I used to go and see was all Aussie pub rock and roll. And it's a really particular kind of music that I don't know how it's defined, but it's very distinctive, I find. And driving around yesterday, and Jailbreak came on the radio, and I just went, it's so definitive Australian pub rock. And Bon Scott is just, I think, just one of the greatest vocalists. And yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, AC/DC had that thing where they kind of built up their fan base in each country kind of almost separately, so that so many countries around the world thought AC/DC was from their country.
Yeah.
And did you find that it kind of happened a bit to you when you went to the States and kind of everything really started there? Did people expect you to be American? And
yeah. And I didn't realise, as we're sort of touring around and people are coming out to see us play, that a lot of the people had only either heard the song on radio and then gone and bought the album or seen the video. And in none of those places am I talking. And these people would come backstage to the meet and greet, and I'd be talking away, and they'd be just staring at me like this. And I'd be like, I got something in my teeth, and they just said,
"Where are you
What's
from?
with your accent, man?" Yeah, so.
Where are you from?
Do you have to kind of give it a bit of southern sometimes to get your point across?
I roll my R's, because it's sort of I'm not even aware of it, but it's just because I've been there so long. I find that it's just something that happens when I'm there. You know what I mean? My accent softens a little bit.
Oh, you have to just to be understood too.
Yeah, it's a combination of all that.
It's great being on tour over there and hearing my band talk on vocal recognition kind of things. When they're calling up to renew their phones.
Right.
Because they have to go, "Hi, I'm Michael." This guy, he's like, "Yeah, I'm Michael. His name's Michael." And then when you get on this phone and you go, "What the hell is he doing?" You're like, "Michael Barker." Because every time he goes, "Michael Barker," they go, "Sorry, sir.
Yeah.
Don't understand what you're saying."
Amanda Biker is not
Yeah,
recognised.
exactly.
But it's true. I find, like in the first few years of being there, and after a while, people going, "Huh? What?" It gets really old after a while. It's fun for the first few months, and then after a while, you realise that. Plus, our drummer in the ranch, his name's Peter Clark, and when we're over there and started touring, and I'd go, "And on the drums, ladies and gentlemen, Peter Clark." People would go, "Oh, Clark, tick-tock, Clark. It's fantastic, man. What a great name."
Yeah.
They're like, "They're not Clock." They go, So I had to say Clark and roll my R. Yeah.
Now, it is all about blues and roots happening all across the country. Now, you guys are on the Mojo stage, but back to back, will there be any kind of cross-loving going on?
Well, hopefully there's going to be a bit of back-to-back kind of...
Oh, little Mamma Mia.
I'd like to see that.
I want to see some status quo.
So JBT, Keith Urban, and then John, you're actually doing solo stuff on the Crossroads stage a little bit later on in the festival as well, yeah?
Yeah, I think not the next day, but the next day after that.
How do you switch around sort of like your set list?
I just play songs that work solo. Yeah, there's some songs that just don't happen as a solo without a band.
Yeah, Funky Tonight would be difficult.
Oh, Funky Tonight works.
Does it?
You can do
That
that,
holds
yeah.
itself. A lot of stuff I write with bass lines in mind because I'm heavily addicted to drum and bass.
Really?
Yeah, I really love it. Not necessarily the style of music that you're talking about. I don't mind a bit of drum and bass either, but I really love those two instruments. But some songs just don't work without somebody laying it down behind me.